Hey everybody, this is Doug Putnam. I thought I'd make a little, 5 minutes video on how to do CGI scripts on Hills. First thing we need to do is log into Hills, so I'm going to do that. And I don't know if you have the same problem I do, but it usually takes about 10 seconds to connect. Once I'm connected, it works okay. I'm going to create a script called, let's call it sample.cgi once we get there. And as you know, CGI scripts have a couple of requirements. One of them is that, let me look at the screen up here. We have a few essentials here. We have a location. In other words, the scripts have to be in the right location, which is your CGI-bin directory. You have to have a shebang line. You have to have a content type. You have to have a blank line after that. And then you have valid Ruby. So let's go create that script. Switch over to that directory. Notice down here that I am in this public HTML CGI bin directory. And I'm going to remove the sample script I already have, and I'm going to recreate it. vi sample.cgi. And the first thing we need to do is create our shebang line. Now, in some cases, you can use the bin env Ruby, but that doesn't work on Hills because the system doesn't really know the path to Ruby. So what we want to do is use the absolute path, user local bin, it's going to take forever like this, bin Ruby. So that's our shebang line. There shouldn't, if you're doing this on Windows, make sure you don't have any Windows line endings. That's disastrous. Next thing we need to do is we need to print up the content type. So we print up content type like this, and we can choose different kinds. We can have text, HTML. That's kind of the default for web. But if you wanted to do plain text, you'd use a different content type, text plain. You can put almost anything you want here for any particular kind of document. Say you wanted to have your Ruby script return a PDF, you would have to put in application PDF. So that tells the browser what kind of file it's going to be rendering. So I'll leave that there. The next thing we do is we have to add in another blank line. So I just put a puts here. So this blank line is mandatory. CGI scripts don't have a lot of requirements, but the few that they do have are absolutely essential. If you leave one out, your script breaks. The next thing we do is put in some content. So I'm just going to do puts, and I'm going to use a here doc, and I usually just say end. And then I put some HTML in here. It's going to be a sample script. All right, like this. And I'll put in some text and say this is a sample of a Ruby CGI script. And so on. Okay, I'm done. I put the closing here doc tag end. Next thing I want to do is want to try this on the command line. So I just type in Ruby sample like this, and runs perfectly. I also want to make sure the script is executable. So I try this sample.cgi, and notice it says permission denied. All of these CGI scripts have to have the right permissions. Remember, that was one of our requirements here. Oh, I left it off. Well, I should put it in here. I'll put it in right now. Permissions. All right. Permissions. Sorry about that. We'll go back and we're going to change it using chmod. And I'm going to change it to be executable and readable. Readable and executable by me, because on Hills, all CGI scripts run as your username. So I'm going to change it like this. So now I can go sample.cgi, and we have the output. All right, so now let's test it on the web. So let's go to the web page, and here I've got it already queued up. So if I type in hills.ccf.edu /dputnam/ sample.cgi, that is the correct URL. We do not put in the directory name. We do not put in ~dputnam/cgi-bin. That's all taken care of by the web server alias. I type this in, I hit return, and there's my script. That's all there is to it. The important thing to remember with this is that every step of this script has to be precise. You have to have a shebang line. You have to have the correct path to Ruby. You have to have a content type, and the content type can be text/HTML, whatever you want. In many cases, you can use text plain, but in the future, you're going to have to use text/HTML for many things. You have to have a blank line. This is mandatory. If you leave out the blank line, your script won't work. And then you have to have some valid Ruby content. That's how you get started. You can do a lot with this. Now, this is very basic stuff, but Ruby on Rails is built on that, on CGI Scripts, and in fact, almost every web technology is. Although nowadays we tend to hide it all in a black box, it's still there operating as always. All right, that's it. Talk to you later.